You're about to learn why your ancestors literally couldn't survive without the animal you think wants to eat you. And by the end of this video, you'll understand why wolves were humanity's first and most critical business partner. Spoiler, it had nothing to do with friendship or Netflix documentaries. Imagine this. 50,000 years ago, you're standing in a freezing forest with a rock in your hand. The rock is your only weapon. Your family is hungry. A massive elk walks past, completely unaware of you. You throw the rock. You miss. The elk disappears into trees you can't chase it through. Your family eats berries tonight. Tomorrow, they'll still be hungry. This was your daily reality. Until something extraordinary happened. Wolves started following humans, not to attack them, to steal their food scraps. But here's where it gets wild. Ancient humans realized something nobody expected. These wolves were actually solving a problem that was killing them. See, hunting alone was nearly impossible. A single human with a spear versus a full-sized mammoth? That's not a hunt. That's a really bad decision that ends with your family mourning you. Mammoths had armor. They had strength that made human muscles look like jokes. They had the kind of intelligence that let them remember which humans had attacked them before and actively avoid those humans. So ancient hunters faced a nightmare every single day. How do you kill an animal that's bigger, stronger, faster, and smarter than you? Wolves changed everything. Here's how. Ancient humans started feeding wolves their leftover scraps, just bones, just the parts they couldn't eat. Wolves began following human hunting parties, not because they were domesticated, not because they suddenly loved humans. They were following because they were hungry, and humans left trails of blood leading to fresh kills. This was a transaction. Wolves got easy meals, humans got something far more valuable. Wolves were pack hunters. They understood strategy. They could coordinate attacks. They could surround prey and cut off escape routes. They could exhaust animals through relentless pursuit. These were skills humans didn't naturally possess. So what happened next was pure genius. Ancient humans started using wolves during hunts, not by training them like we do today, by simply letting them do what they already did. Natural wolves were basically living military strategy manuals written in fur and teeth. Imagine the old hunting scenario again. Human versus elk. Now add 8 wolves to that equation. The wolves circle, the elk panics, the human throws the spear. This time it lands because the animal is distracted and exhausted. This time your family eats. This is the difference between survival and starvation. This is the difference between a tribe that grows stronger and a tribe that disappears. But it gets even crazier. Wolves didn't just help with hunting. They became an early warning system. A human settlement in ancient times was completely vulnerable at night. You couldn't see danger approaching. You didn't have technology. You had fear and darkness and the very real possibility that predators were stalking your children while you slept. Wolves changed that. A wolf's hearing extends far beyond human range. They can detect threats from distances humans can't even imagine. So wolves that hung around human camps began barking at approaching danger. Saber-toothed cats, other predators, rival human tribes. The wolves weren't protecting humans out of love. They were protecting their territory and their food source. But the result was identical. Ancient humans who had wolves nearby survived. Ancient humans without wolves didn't. Here's something that blows people's minds. Wolves actually shaped human evolution. Groups with wolves survived better. They reproduced more successfully. Their genes spread. Over thousands of years, only humans who figured out how to live alongside wolves made it to the modern era. Your ancestors weren't the strongest. They weren't the fastest. They were the ones smart enough to partner with an animal that was all those things. That's not just survival. That's innovation. That's intelligence. That's the exact kind of thinking that would eventually build civilizations. The domestication thing everyone talks about, that came later, way later. The wolves that became dogs didn't happen because humans decided to turn them into pets. It happened because the wolves that were less aggressive around human food got fed more often. The wolves that were more curious about humans lived longer. Over dozens of generations, these traits compounded. Wolves that could tolerate human presence had better access to the easiest food source on the planet, ancient human kill sites. So they stayed closer. They bred with other wolves that stayed close. And eventually, you had animals that looked different, acted different, were fundamentally different. That animal was the first dog. But before dogs existed, regular wolves were already saving humanity. Without wolves, human civilization might not have happened at all. Without the hunting advantage wolves provided, ancient humans would have stayed scattered, starving, fighting for survival. Population growth would have stalled. Technology development would have been impossible. You couldn't invent agriculture if you were too busy almost dying of hunger. You couldn't build cities if you never had surplus food. You couldn't create art, music, or writing if your entire existence was just trying to eat enough calories. Wolves gave humans time. Time to think, time to plan, time to imagine things beyond the next meal. That's the actual gift they provided, not companionship. Time. And time is the currency of civilization. So next time you see a dog, remember something. That animal is here because your ancestors made one of the smartest deals in human history. They looked at a predator and didn't see a threat. They saw a partner. They saw an opportunity. And they were right. That decision echoes through 50,000 years of human history. It echoes in every dog on the planet. It echoes in the fact that you're alive right now, watching this video, because your ancestors understood something critical. Sometimes, survival isn't about being the strongest. It's about being smart enough to work with someone who is. And that partnership changed everything.